Hello and welcome to People in Profit. I'm Charles Pellegrin, and in the middle of dry January, we'll try to keep the festive cheer alive, all while staying sober. We'll focus on the boom of no or low alcohol alternatives to beer, wine, or other spirits. Boston Consulting Group has found the global market for these beverages is worth $13 billion and that it could keep growing 7% annually until 2027. From 0% beer brewers in the Netherlands to non-alcoholic liquor stores in France, Jenny Ben Brahim gives us a look at this dynamic new consumer market.
Post-work drinks without the next day hangover at this Dutch bar.
We have various non-alcoholic beers, La Chouffe, Corona and Jopen. We sell a few crates of it every week and it's really tasty. I myself, with dry January, have a beer like this more often.
Dry January is no longer a sobering thought for many consumers in the Netherlands and across Europe. An alcohol-free and low-alcohol beer market is steadily brewing, jumping up 13% from 2022 to 2023. While traditional beer remains a popular drink of choice, accounting for around 95% of production across the bloc, some breweries are helping to bridge the gap.
This needs a little longer. There are generations in the Netherlands who still believe that low or alcohol-free beer is missing something. We try to convince them that this is absolutely not the case. I dare say that with many beers, the difference in taste is no longer noticeable.
France is also tapping into this beverage El Dorado. The country saw a 25% rise in 2022 in the number of no or low alcohol purchases, a record for any Western country. France may be one of the biggest wine producers in the world, but this hasn't stopped places like the Cactus de Barnabé in offering a healthier alternative. The first shop of its kind in Strasbourg.
We have young people, middle-aged people, and the elderly. We have pregnant and breastfeeding women, people who want to take a break from alcohol, and people who still drink but are looking for alternatives.
More than 10 million French people took part in Dry January in 2024. A spirited debate is set to continue as to whether this no or low alcohol trend is here to stay in Europe.
Well, to dive deeper into this topic, let's talk to two active players in this sector. On set, we have Jonathan Dubois, founder of Goxoa, a French zero-alcohol beer brand specifically marketed towards athletes, and the winner of the gold medal for the best non-alcoholic beer at the European Beer Challenge. Welcome, Jonathan.
Hello, thank you.
And joining us from over Skype is Paul Mathew, the London-based founder of Everleaf Drinks, which produces sustainably sourced non-alcoholic aperitifs, thanks in part to your background as a botanist. Welcome and thank you for joining us, Paul.
Thanks very much.
So I want to start this conversation with you, Jonathan, and I'll put the same question to you, Paul, afterwards. How do you explain this growing appetite for low or non-alcoholic beverages from consumers? Why are we becoming more health conscious?
I would say my personal vision, and that's a bit the statistics. So I would say that there are three drivers. First, the Gen Z. I don't know exactly the percentage, but they are drinking less alcohol because maybe of social media, etc. These trends of healthiness. Second thing, the 30, 50 years old range people are also taking more care of their health. We see that there are some figures after COVID where people try to eat healthier. And I would say the third thing that had a big impact is the quality of the products that improved a lot. And that's also why now people feel, I say, more comfortable to go to non-alcoholic beverages because the quality and the experience is becoming almost equivalent.
Paul, do you agree with that assessment?
Absolutely, really well put. I think people are increasingly more mindful about their health. We understand now a lot more about the risks of alcohol, and we're looking to moderate that more. But we also are very busy. We have a lot to do in our lives, don't we? And maybe waking up with a hangover doesn't need to be part of that. So we're a bit more mindful about how we turn up in the morning. So it may be that you're choosing to not drink at all, or it may just be that you're trying to reduce your alcohol consumption. And for most of our consumers, they also buy alcohol as well. So it's just a general trend that's getting more and more.
It's quite interesting to see that, as you say, that people who drink non-alcoholic beer are also people who buy alcoholic beverages at the same time. Jonathan, you've marketed Goxoa as a sports drink, in part because you're yourself a triathlete, or you're used to be at least, and you wanted an alternative to beer. You said in other interviews, actually, that French people were more skeptical of non-alcoholic beer than other European countries, for example, Spain. Is this sports angle a way to try and get through to a reluctant French customer?
It's a good question. So just to come back to this point about French people, we do a lot of field work. So we have a lot of trials, and we see when we have more international events, indeed, the average reaction from international people is more open-minded to non-alcoholic beverages than French. I don't know exactly why, but maybe some cultural, barrier. And this sport aspect, it's also to answer the two problems we identified in France. People don't like non-alcoholic beers because of the taste and because they find it kind of useless because there is no alcohol. So we wanted to have something that is great in taste and bring something more than just non-alcoholic beers, classics, or having functional beers, and so we call them the sports beer.
I see. Paul, your background as a conservation biologist has really informed the types of flavors you produce with Everleaf. Why did you choose to use these flavors in a non-alcoholic beverage?
We didn't want to make something that was an analog of something that exists in alcohol. We want to make great tasting drinks, something that's delicious for the consumer, something that they may not even tell is non-alcoholic when they're having it in a bar or restaurant. And to do that, it was really an opportunity for me to use that knowledge of plants to create something that hit all those flavor cues, but maybe wasn't trying to emulate something that's already there. So we're not trying to be a non-alcoholic gin or anything like that, but we use a lot of botanicals that may be familiar to aperitif drinkers. And I mean, talking about the different markets there, we were initially skeptical about how well Everleaf would be received in France, because I think France doesn't have that necessarily problem of drinking alcohol that we see more in the UK, a more healthy relationship with alcohol. But really, the French reception has been amazing for us, and it's really great to see that the flavors are very appealing to lots of different markets.
Jonathan earlier mentioned the expression functional drinks. So this is a drink that not only isn't bad for you, but actually brings a health benefit to you. And that's what you're doing with Goxoa. The drinks have certain qualities that are good, especially for athletes. I want to get back to you, Paul, with this. Is that also something you are thinking of for your line of drinks?
No, we tend to stay away from the functional beverage market and those cues. We're really flavor driven. We do a lot about the flavor, the aroma, the texture, the color of the drink, and that's really our focus. That said, we use a lot of plants that have been associated with effects over the years. It's just not what we choose to focus on. But I absolutely appreciate that category of functional beverages and see that's a really interesting part of the market that's growing rapidly too.
Jonathan, this functional beverage thing, do you feel like there's a risk there in, making promises that maybe you have to be careful about what you promise about the benefits, the health benefits of your drink, because then you're dealing with scientific reports, etc. How do you deal with that potential uncertainty there?
No, it's a very good point. So we always try to be careful. We are advised by nutritionists, lawyers, etc. on this. So we respect some standards that allows us to have some claims, but of course it's not, a drug or something like this that could replace some treatment. It's a plus. So our promise is really to bring you great tasting beer. So it has been also awarded the best alcohol-free beer in the world by the World Beer Award, and something that brings you some nutrients after sports. So the first one is on hydration with minerals, vitamins. And the second one is not directly linked with after sport, but more with winter, vitamin D, Achille millefeuille, it's yarrow in English. So trying to combine the best of the taste and some functional benefits.
One last question I'll put to both of you. One of the main functions of alcohol, if you're having a regular lager, your Heinekens and Carlsberg, is often to be a social lubricant, to help people relax and make social ties. Is there a way to keep that aspect alive with these beverages and without the health cost?
It's a good question. To be honest, I think it depends a lot of the group and the dynamic. If you have with friends that are totally open-minded, you don't need alcohol to have a good time, and so it will depend a lot of, I think, on external things. But what we try to do, and I think Paul will agree, is really to give something that is very close to an alcoholic experience in terms of, I mean, the packaging, etc., not the experience, I mean, what you feel, to really make it inclusive. Not like a soda when you are judged, oh, you drink this soda. That's a bit also part of the mission, to have something that allows you to be into the group.
Paul, any final thoughts there?
Absolutely. I'm a bar owner in London. I have a couple of venues there. I've been a bartender for years, and I'm in the line of work of hospitality, not in dealing doses of alcohol to people. We're all about encouraging people to have a great time and make sure that they're enjoying themselves. If you're not drinking, if you are drinking, we really don't mind. We just want you to have a great time, and that's what these products are all about, making sure that people can have a great experience, whatever they choose to drink.
Jonathan Dubois, you are the founder of Goxoa. Paul Mathew, founder of Everleaf. Thank you to both of you for sharing your insights on this really fascinating economic sector that's growing for a more health-conscious population. And thanks for your time.
Thank you.
That's all we have time for, unfortunately, but cheers to our guests for their insights on this fascinating sector, and cheers to you for watching. For any of our previous shows, please look for People and Profit on the France 24 app or website and the podcast platform of your choice. In the meantime, stay tuned to France 24.